I don't usually make videos like this, but after the most recent One Piece episodes, I had to say something because there's no way people actually believe this Discord that I've been seeing. Like, I get it, people on the internet love to hate on everything, but the way some of y'all are reaching with One Piece lately is wild to me. One of the takes I keep seeing pop up is flashy lights don't equal good animation. And technically, that's true. But saying it, especially in the context of One Piece, is just a weird criticism, especially when you think about how One Piece has been getting this major animation upgrades in recent arcs. We're getting movie-level visuals now, actual passion being poured into the episodes, and somehow that's a bad thing. You've never heard people complain when other animes have the same flashy lights, Fate, Stay Night, everything that ufotable does is crazy with the light. Demon Slayer, even Jujutsu Kaisen, all of them have entire scenes where the screen is lit up like a festival. Explosions, particle effects, camera swings. It's just part of the animation of their style. It's like looking like a whole club in there, literally. But with One Piece, suddenly it's too much now. Where was that energy, I'm asking myself, like back then towards those animes? And you also need to understand the context. Let's not forget who Luffy is fighting right now. The man is literally up against someone made of light, like actual light. Of course, the scenes are going to be bright and intense and flashy. That's literally what the power is of Kizaru. That's not a visual gimmick, that's just being faithful to the story Oda has made out to be. Even more than that, this isn't some filler scene or a throwaway moment. These are key fights in the story. They're supposed to be dramatic, they're supposed to feel overwhelming, and that's the whole point. If you're complaining that a fight with a light-based character has too many flashy visuals, I don't know what to tell you. That's like complaining that a scene in Fire Force has too much fire. Like, this doesn't make sense. Now let's talk about this other take I've been seeing. The new One Piece episodes are over-animated. When I first heard this take, I was like, over-animated, what does that even mean? If I understand it correctly, you can correct me in the comments. I guess people mean that some scenes are too fluid or too detailed, like the animators are doing too much for a moment that doesn't really need it. But that's such a weird take to me, because when is too much effort a problem? We spent years begging studios to put more care and time into all kinds of animes. We've seen lately that with the beginning after the end, Tower of God, where the whole animation is pretty much not good. It's just choppy frames, reused shots, slideshow fights, especially in long-running shonen throughout the past. It's always been a reality. And now we finally get something that's actually polished, cinematic, and beautifully animated, and people are mad because it looks too good. Even Ghibli movies back then are overly fluid and no one claims them to be over animated. I'm just asking myself, what do people want? Do they want stick figures, a PowerPoint presentation?
So it's like, for a scene like Luffy versus Kizaru, like, I'm not sure what over animation would mean. Like, one guy is literally the god of the sun, and the other one is literally light. Like, what would be overacting that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what would be too much for something that's already so far beyond the boundaries of imagination?
Some of these takes just feel like people trying so hard to find a reason not to give their props, their respects to One Piece. They can't accept that One Piece, over 25-year-old anime, might actually be putting out some of the best visuals on TV right now. Alright, let's move to something a little more valid. The sound effects. Yeah, I've seen people say that the sound design lately makes One Piece quote-unquote unbearable to watch. Especially in Gear 5 scenes. And honestly, I'll give this some room. Because, yeah, Toei does overdo it sometimes. It's bouncy, it's cartoonish, exaggerated. It doesn't sound like in typical animes. But that's the point, isn't it? That's literally Gear 5's entire aesthetic. It's meant to feel unhinged, like an old Looney Tunes episode. That's the vibe Oda was going for. Is it everyone's cup of tea? No. Does it ruin the episode? Personally, I don't think so, but that's more so subjective, I think. It's not like the animation is bad or the story is suffering through those sounds, really. It's just that the sound design takes a hard stylistic turn. And yeah, some people don't vibe with it. That's fair, I guess. But calling it unbearable to watch is a stretch to me. At the end of the day, a lot of this hate feels less like real criticism and more like people trying to be contrarian. You know the type, if it's popular, it must be overrated type. Or it's just a battle of fandoms that's been going on for decades now. But I don't want to engage in those type of battles between fandoms. But yeah, One Piece pretty much never gets their flowers without someone trying to find something to complain about. But the reality is the Wano arc and now the Egghead arc have shown some of the best animation and direction this series had ever, period. And the fights look amazing, the storytelling is solid, the characters are animated with real energy and personality. It's not just One Piece getting by on nostalgia or something. It's genuinely leveling up in real time. So if you can give props right now, I don't think you ever will. And it's probably just not for you, I guess. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Let me know what you think about this whole One Piece hate train in the comments. Do you think some of the criticism is fair? Or are people just mad that the anime is actually cooking right now? See ya next time and peace.